I'm Luke McAvoy. I was an offensive lineman at the University of Minnesota from 2011 to 2015. Go Gophers. I came out to my team just after my junior season to two of my close teammates, and word quickly spread after that to almost unanimous support. And those of you, or those of them that do not like it, it's very easy to avoid someone when you have 130 people on your team. So that makes it pretty easy. Now, there's generally three questions that I got asked as I was telling different people. I think you guys are familiar with some of these. One, do you know? Why now? And then, what was the locker room like? And now, I'm a bit of a smartass, so I'd say, it was 60 yards long, 35 yards across, in the shape of a football. All the Gopher greats are up there. And they just kind of look at me like, why are you telling me this? And then I let them know what it was actually like. And before I get into actually what the answer to that question is, I'm talking about my experience in the locker room, what I think the locker room actually is. Because it's more than just those four walls or whatever it is the community that is there, the community that's present. It's where you share in the joys of victory and where you sit in silence and share the burden of defeat. This is where, when your best friend gets a scholarship, you congratulate them over and over. It's where you found those rivalries that help everyone become a better player. The locker room is where you sit in unbroken silence as you mourn the loss of Gary Tinsley. That's what the locker room is to me. And when someone asks, how was that locker room? They're not asking just how the team take it. They're asking how this community around football is interacting with what's going on. And I was incredibly fortunate in that most of my team was incredibly supportive, accepting of who I was as I came out. And those that didn't, they quickly came around to the right side. But even after that, and as I started to branch out to more of the LGBT community in Minneapolis and started getting more gay friends, I realized there's something still missing. There's something that wasn't quite right. And I kind of blocked that out for many years until I was thinking about what I was going to say to you all today. And because of that, I formulated a pretty simple question I asked most of my former teammates. I asked 42 of them. The question is, do you personally know someone who's gay other than me? And 37 times the answer is no. You're the only one. And the other 5 times there was an uncle, 2 brothers, an aunt, but unfortunately no lesbian sister. But I realized in that moment of why what we do here is so important. Because you need to give people the opportunity to show that they're loving, to show that they're accepting. Otherwise, this stereotype of the homophobic jock continues because they haven't had the opportunity to disprove it. And that's why the people that tell their stories in here, and especially in football, the Dave Copes, he's not here, but Mason, who's out there, Connor, Dalton, the people that tell those stories, you're helping to break that stereotype of the homophobic jock, not because of the bravery that you've shown and what you've done, but because of what your teammates are doing around you. Because they're showing how we've progressed. They're showing how the world's becoming more accepting. Yes, I know there's still stories of hate and bigotry, but those are moments that we continue to see the LGBT community surround and support our own. And that's what I think we're doing here, is we're creating that community. Is this weekend, there's, I think, 70 or so student athletes or former athletes that are creating that community of support and love, that are creating their own locker room in which we can continue to be ourselves and we can bring sports into the gay community, and it doesn't have to be 2 separate things like it was for me. Now, I'm going to quickly transfer here. This is to another story that I'm hoping kind of resonates. I'm a teacher. I have 150 students that I see every day. And it was about a month after I posted my article on Outsports. And I teach 7th graders and they love Google. It is amazing what they'll Google. And they like to know what's going on with their teachers. And quickly after that, about a month later, we were talking about similes, metaphors, all sorts of types of figurative language. It was a great class, in my opinion. I don't know if we're enjoying it as much. About halfway through, one of my students raised their hand and out of his normal way, asked me very bluntly, "Are you gay?" It's the first time at my work at the school that I'd said yes, and I said yes to him. And another student goes, "No way, you play football." My response is, "Yes, I actually am gay. I'm not lying to you here." And so very quickly, similes, metaphors went out the window because I couldn't let this moment pass. I felt that a need to share this story. So I brought up the Outsports article with my face saying, "I wish I came out sooner." And they still didn't believe me. Now, this is where, as a teacher, you kind of balance this idea of what's a good lesson, what's a good kind of moral lesson that's outside of what you're supposed to do, and just the students not wanting to talk about similes. And so I hope part of the reason I'm hoping that someone who's watching this with my students is that, yes, I am gay, you can be a football player, they're no longer mutually exclusive. And as we continue to have more people tell their coming out stories, we're going to see that sports and being gay, being bi, whatever it is not two different things, they're one and the same. So those of you that have come out before me that have started making that community, thank you. To the students, the student athletes that are still in the process of accepting themselves, figuring out who they are, take your time. It's a long journey. Reach out if you need help, we're here for you. And that we're waiting. We're waiting to welcome you to this locker room that we are creating. Thank you all, happy Pride.